Episode 153. Forgotten and ignored, Qiao Yifan had been standing there in a daze. His teammates hadn't called him up to coordinate, so his opponents hadn't had a chance to notice him either. He watched as even Zhao Yingji was effortlessly drawn into their trap. Qiao Yifan truly had no idea what else he could do. Hearing Zhou Yebo's roar, he charged forward recklessly, regardless of his own ability. The result, naturally, was a complete disaster. He was the weakest of the four to begin with. What chance did he have against Ye Xiu? After a few frantic exchanges, in his panic, he was tossed into the circle by Lord Grimm, effectively taking Zhou Yebo's place. Zhou Yebo slumped into his seat with a sigh of resignation. His yelling at Qiao Yifan was just a way to vent. He never really expected anything from the kid. Besides, he was already dead when he yelled at Qiao Yifan. Even Yong Xiao, who had been heading this way, had now stopped. Xiao Yong stared blankly at his teammates' screens. He watched in silence as one teammate after another was cut down, culminating in a total party wipe. Though they fell one after another, each of the five had died once. Was an undeniable fact. 5 players sat before their screens. Apart from Xiao Yun, the other 4 stared blankly at their own corpses. Lord Grimm and his 4 companions were still circling around. They must have been saying something. Unfortunately, the sound gets automatically cut for a dead body. Now, unable to hear any voice chat or sound effects around him, it was truly a silence as deep as death. Just like the 5 of them felt right then. If it was just Xiao Yun's own blunder, they could still try to explain it away. But now, 4 of us went over and got wiped out by them. That's really hard to say now. Even though they're just the club's substitutes, and 2 of them have no real match experience to speak of, but they were still professional players. With 5 of them, they could already represent their club in a team match. But now, in this online team battle, not a single one of their opponents has fallen. Their entire team was wiped out. Even if this were a professional league match, the loss might not have been this crushing.
It's so annoying. A level 20 sharpshooter. I'm missing so many skills. It just feels wrong.
Liu Fei was the first to speak. The clever woman had found an excuse. All it is a bit. Zhou Yebo borrowed it for a moment. I told you so. The expression on Xiao Yung's face clearly said, finally, you get it. Neither Zhao Yingji nor Qiao Yifan spoke. Zhao Yingji was an honest, introverted kid, far too embarrassed to make up such an excuse. As for Qiao Yifan, he'd use any excuse to save face. Ha, what does face even mean to him? He never seemed to have had any. That night, the substitutes on Team Tiny Herb's bench slept fitfully. They didn't regroup to go after Lord Grimm and his crew again. Though nearly everyone used the excuse of their low-level characters lacking skills and feeling unfamiliar. But deep down, they all knew that wasn't the real reason. They're pro players. Are you saying they'd get wiped by a bunch of casual gamers just because they're not used to it? Then pro players wouldn't be worth a damn. The next day, the main team and reserve players of Team Tiny Herb met up in the training room. They greeted each other. As a pro player, you're expected to take part in structured, daily training. While there were certainly some players who slacked off and hated training, at least in Team Tiny Herb, no such members existed. When Captain Wang Jiexi gives you that look with his mismatched eyes, half the team doesn't even dare to breathe.
哇，有点能 see 不到。
When Qiao Yifan saw his friend Zhao Yingji, he got a huge shock. Zhao Yingji's eyes were ringed with dark, panda-like circles. Zhao Yingji just gave a vague, non-committal reply, not really engaging with the conversation. Qiao Yifan looked over at Xiao Yun, Zhou Yebo, and Liu Fei. Which one of them looked any better? But these guys' mental fortitude was at least a bit stronger than Zhao Yingji's. They hadn't developed such exaggerated dark circles under their eyes. As for Qiao Yifan, he felt no pressure at all. After all, no one ever expected anything from him in the first place. At exactly 9 o'clock, Wang Jiexi appeared in the training room on the dot. Team Tiny Herb's official training was split into 2 sessions, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. In the current Glory scene, a formal coaching system hasn't really taken shape yet. After all, Glory is only a 10-year-old game and the pro scene has only been around for 7. Everyone was still in the process of figuring things out. Within the entire circle, top-tier gods like Wang Jiexi already represented the highest level. This was true for both theory and technique, so there was simply no one qualified to guide them. So clubs like Tiny Herb didn't have a coaching team. They're just an advisory team handling a wide range of miscellaneous tasks, gathering intel on opponents, analyzing opponent tactics, providing strategic options, and exploring new ways to play the maps. All of these could fall within their purview, but the final say always rests with each team's captain. To be honest, their greatest value lies in saving the pro's energy. In the early days of the Pro League, all of this was the players' own work. 2. Now that the clubs have grown and gained financial strength, they finally have the capital to invest in human resources. This allows the pro players to focus more intently on their training and matches. In the current alliance, the only ones who truly deserve the title of a coach are Zhang Yuwei and Lai Bo. Both were early Glory players. After several twists and turns, they now coach at small clubs. These 2 teams, Wangqi Club only joined the alliance last year. The team was full of rookies, their skill levels all over the place, lacking experience. And the boss didn't have much capital to work with either, nor did they have much ambition. In the end, they just casually brought in Zhang Yuwei to help the team out, and who would have thought he'd work out so well? Finishing 17th in the league standings is a solid result for a team just entering the alliance.
Not finishing in the bottom 2 and getting relegated is already a pretty decent result.
Some teams, upon entering the league, immediately splurge on poaching players, hoping star pros can instantly carry the load. The result was a crushing defeat.
This wasn't the first time something like this had happened.
So being a coach is actually a pretty cost-effective way to transition. At least the investment is low and the risk is minimal. So this year, the newly joined Minking Club followed Swanky's lead. They brought in Li Bo. But so far, the 2 clubs are truly birds of a feather. Last year's 16th place team Mysterious Wonder has now sunk to dead last at 20th, while Radiant Clarity sits at 18th. But the team they're keeping down is Excellent Era, a team that theoretically should never have fallen to such an exaggerated 19th place. And their lead over Excellent Era was a mere 3 points. No one believed they could keep Team Excellent Era pinned down and kick them out of the competition. Coaches are still far from being the decisive figures in Glory's competitive scene. This is now the prevailing view across the entire Glory Alliance. Zhang Yuwei and Li Bo are currently living in a world of pain. They've been running themselves ragged trying to prove their worth. The moment Wang Jiexi entered the training room, the low murmurs that had filled the air instantly died away. The team members all got down to business, focusing intently on their assigned training drills. Wang Jiexi made a circuit of the room and finally arrived at the substitute bench area. The group collectively drew a sharp, startled breath. Usually, everyone longed for a bit of attention from the great god Jiexi. Now, however, they all wished they were invisible. Only Qiao Yifan was the exception, because he had always been invisible.
How was last night?
Wang Jiexi finally spoke up. The 5 of them exchanged glances, none daring to speak. Finally, Xiao Yun looked up and saw that Wang Jiexi was looking right at him. He said helplessly,
Yeah, I've run into a bit of trouble.
"What's wrong?" Xiao Yun thought it over carefully. The term wipe is just too disgusting to say. Besides, Xiao Yun died first. The other 4 went down later. It was a staggered wipe. This isn't a standard team wipe. So Xiao Yun sidestepped the term, keeping a close eye on Wang Jiexi's expression, while cautiously opening his mouth to speak.